I am so glad to be here with you today. I am hoping that you started your week with your own intrinsic motivation. But if you didn't, then we're going to talk about today your potential. Because believe it or not, this is actually what I end up coaching most of my clients on, is to believe in their potential more. And I think that a lot of potential doesn't get acknowledged enough because people don't recognize how much value they have to offer people and their clients and their business and their families and their friends. So today, we're going to be talking about 5 tips which will help scale your potential, boost your potential, because I know that most people feel like they've got more potential inside of them. But the question is, how do you tap into that? What's missing? Something that I talk a lot about with clients is you have gaps and you have gains in your business and in life. So how can we tap more into our gains, what keeps us going, what we're really good at, our strengths? And how do we fill in the gaps? Whether it is us filling in the gaps or whether we are leveraging other people and their strengths to fill in our gaps. Life is busy. I don't know about you, but I have noticed that the days just keep going. I mean, I can't believe we're already at the 10th of July. I feel like all winter long, we were waiting for summer to come. And now that it's here, are we really enjoying it? Or are we just continuing the rat race, right? And are we slowing down? Are we even enjoying the sunshine that we waited all year for? Those of you who are in warm climates, maybe this is a period of time where you normally do slow down a little bit. If you feel like you can't seem to catch up to life, then the reason is because you're not prioritizing your day, you're not planning your day or your week or the work that you've got ahead of you, setting boundaries and being consistent. Believe it or not, consistency will give you your life back every time. So I'm going to talk about some of these things today, and in the 5 steps to regain your potential, or maybe in your case, we are boosting it. Mastery. Step 1 is mastery and providing value. And I've got a whole bunch of notes here. So I'm going to go through these notes, give you some of my life experiences as well, because a lot of what I talk about is tried and true. It's not theory. I didn't read it in a book. I will supplement what I already know works by doing research, but I will never do the research not having tried what works. Mastery is about reaching our highest potential. And are we doing this on a consistent basis? So it's not necessarily just about work or career. Mastery is in every aspect of our life. It's personal growth, it's relationships, it's hobbies, it's fitness, it's in our health. Are you mastering what it is that you want to accomplish? So why don't we take each of these? Let's start with health, which so many people, I know I listen to quite a lot of health podcasts in between, motivation, business, and different types. And the overwhelming message most days is, are you mastering what it is you are trying to accomplish? So let's say that you have a health issue. Are you giving up your control to doctors and just listening to what people say, or do you learn a little bit about the topic? I know for myself, after I had heart surgery and a minor stroke, and I've had many, many different things, what I did is I decided to master the subject of heart disease, because unless I can understand it and I'm curious about it, how will I ever be able to know what to do to prevent it? Medication covers the problem, right? It's like a Band-Aid, but it doesn't actually solve the problem. So My goal has always been to solve the problem. How do I solve it? Well, I have to understand it before I solve it. So if we took that same mindset and we put it into your business, are you mastering what you are trying to become good at? Or are you waiting to see if, someone can tell you? And I don't mean a coach or a mentor. I mean, you are trying to follow someone else's advice without having tried it first. Because mastery is action. I'll give you an example. Other than my heart, let's move away from health and go into business. When I decided that I was going to become really good at social media, I had to put what I was learning into practice, because mastery is nothing without action and practice. So in order to become good at video, I had to learn, okay, what are the key concepts of video? What are the ways that I can engage people through video? How do I do that? Well, I do it with a hook at the beginning. And then my body has to be divided into 3 easy parts to digest. And I have to have energy, and I have to look at the camera, and I have to smile, and we have to do all these things. But I didn't know that at the beginning. So I would read about it, I would learn about it, and then I would do it. And then I would sit back and I would analyze, not being overly critical of myself, but looking at whether this actually had an effect in engaging people. What effect was it creating when I did it this way? What happened if I changed it and I did it this way? What happened if I recorded a video outside as opposed to inside? What happened if I changed the background into something really beautiful and vibrant as opposed to a wall behind me? This is mastery. Mastery is trial and error, trial and error. What works, what doesn't work. So let me ask you right now, when you are mastering a topic, if you're in real estate, if you're in business, you're learning how to find new clients. You are learning how to attract clients, engage clients on social media. Do you do it once or twice and say, yeah, I don't think this works. It's really not working for me? Or do you take the time, you do it once, and you sit back and you analyze, okay, did anyone like it? Did anyone engage with it? Did anyone share what I posted? No. Okay, that's interesting. So maybe I need to try it in a different way tomorrow. When you can do this over and over and over, what happens is these little steps that you're doing begin to have a compounding effect on the end result. When I first started doing video, I would have 20 people watch, and we're going back 9 years ago. 20 people might watch a video. How many at that time, real estate agents, brokers, and so on, were doing video? Very few. So after the first one, people thought, oh, well, that's a little different and interesting. And so they would tune into the next one. Then the next one would have 100. Then the next one would have 200. I have gotten up to 250,000 views on a single video. And do you know what I told myself? The first year I started doing video, here's what I said to myself. People aren't going to keep watching. They're going to get bored of me. But do you know when that 250,000 views came? Year 8. I had convinced myself, remember? Last video I did about the stories we tell ourselves and the stories we begin to believe about what goes on in this world, and they're not actually true. We just told ourselves they were. I told myself that no one would watch my videos anymore. And year 8, 250,000 people are still watching them. They're being shared. So mastery is about repeated action over and over. There is one missing piece to it, though, and that's value. Mastery plus the value you provide plus consistency is what equals success. So let's talk about that again. We have this equation, which is for success. It is mastery plus consistency plus value equals success. So now I'm going to string them all together for you. So you master a topic, you master a subject, you master something that's really important to you and your business, or you and your life. We then have to become consistent at it. So I'm going to go back to my video journey. I started video 9 years ago. Here I am today, still speaking to you, and I incorporated it in different ways into my business. And every month, I chose a new way to incorporate it. Why did I do that? Because I wanted to expand my mastery. Because if I'm going to do video, then I'm going to do the videos that will engage clients, and not just real estate or any industry. The same type of videos will work for every industry because you are providing value. And there is that third quotient part of our recipe, right? We've got the mastery. The consistency means you're going to do it over and over. And the value is in what you are saying, in how you are saying it, or how you are communicating it. So, are you providing people with tips? Are you giving them strategies? Are you talking about the advantages of the disadvantages? When you can be seen as a person who knows their subject and can offer value to people, but you're not asking for anything in return at the beginning, that is when people begin to trust you. And the way that we work with clients as business owners is we have to develop a know, a like, and a trust. People have to begin to know us, like us, and trust us before they will do business with us. And some of these are the steps that a lot of people want to skip over. It takes too long. But the problem is that if you're missing one of these, I'm going to go back to what I said a few minutes ago. Remember, we have the gap and the gain. So when I'm coaching people and when I'm doing a course, this is what we talk about. There are gaps in your business. So if you're wondering why business may not be moving forward as you want it to, it's because there are gaps. Is it the know? Is it the like? Is it the trust? Is it the consistency? Is it the mastery? Or is it the value? Something's missing. And so that's what we do. We have to figure out what that is. And we do that by simply going through what it is that you do on a daily basis. What is it you do on a weekly basis? Is that adding up to the goals that you created? Do you have goals? Do you have a business plan for your business? Did you start with a business plan at the beginning of the year? So that's step one, is mastery and value. So let's go to step two, which I actually think is probably one of, or maybe the most important part of driving a business forward and realizing your potential in business. And this is actually the step that I find is missing or very weak in most entrepreneurs: prioritizing and time management. Do you know that I spend the majority of my coaching hours helping people prioritize the tasks that they need to get done and time management? How many of you have said this? You know, when I get to July, August, September, I'm going to have more time because whatever this is going on now will be done by then. And I'll have more time to concentrate on that thing that I need to do. Next week, I'll have more time in the afternoon to worry about this. That is a lie, plain and simple, because the time never comes around again. You may think in September, October, you're going to have more time. Or, I'm going to get a coach in December because that's when it's quiet. No, it's holiday season. Now is the time when you need to implement, right now. Because now is what is creating your future. Think about this for a minute. I was sitting back a couple months ago, and I was actually sitting here thinking, what I am doing right now is literally creating my future, which is 1 minute from now. So when we're wondering why our business isn't improving, it's because what we are doing right now is not shifting it 1 minute from now, 5 minutes from now, 2 weeks from now, because we don't realize that the actions we are doing right now are really affecting this whole trajectory of where we want to go. If you're sitting there and you're thinking about, okay, well, I want to lose weight. I'm going to go on this beautiful vacation in August or September or October, and I want to lose weight, which is a very common hope that a lot of people have. But what we don't realize is that it's not the meal plan of the week. It's what you're about to go into your kitchen and eat in 10 minutes. It's about what you're making for lunch. It's the little decisions that are happening now that are creating the trajectory of losing weight in a month from now or 2 months from now. Fitness, health. How easy is it to stay in bed in the morning, not get up, and become active, move the body, move the blood around? This is something that I started doing, I would say probably 12 years ago, is the idea that your blood needs to circulate in order for everything to begin functioning. It's sort of like a kickstart button every day. And if you're not kickstarting your body, it means that your body will take longer to move into motion, right? Oh, I need a coffee first, or I need to do this first. What you actually need is to move your body, because that's what gets the brain to start going. It's what gets your movement. If you wake up stiff in the morning, it will actually begin to lessen that. But we have the opposite feeling as we lie there. Oh my God, I can't do that. So that's why they say consistency is a far more powerful motivator than motivation ever will be, because you are not always motivated, but you can always be consistent. So even if you're not motivated to eat well, if you're not motivated to work out in the morning, consistency will keep you there, and discipline. So now let's go talk about time management, right? Time management in business. And I'll tell you how I was able to become almost an expert on time management. And it was out of need. When I lived in Europe, I decided, while working 2 jobs and 2 children under the age of 7, that I was going to start doing a master's degree by distance learning in the country I was in, Cyprus, with Manchester, England. So I'm working 2 jobs. I've got 2 children under the age of 7. And now I'm going to start doing a master's degree, which basically requires you to do research and projects for 3 years straight. There are no summers, there are no Christmases. It's 3 years straight. So that's what I did. However, when you're a teacher, which I was back then, you have class, and in Europe, things start very early. So we have to be at school at 7 a.m. You're teaching, and I was teaching high school at the time. And the reason I was doing a master's degree was so that I could move and become a professor in university. So not only are you creating a lesson plan each day, you're then standing there, you're teaching, so you have to be on. There is no chance to be bored. There is no chance to be tired. When you're standing in front of a group of high school students, you do not have the option to slack off. They're there, they're watching you, and they're waiting for you to perform and to teach them. Once that was done, I then had private lessons, private English lessons that I was doing out of my house in the evenings and the afternoons. So now when am I correcting the work from the day? When am I creating the next lesson plan? And then when am I creating the lesson plan of what I'm going to teach the students in the evening? And then I have a master's degree and research that I've got to do at night. So what did I have to do? I had to learn to time block, because I also have 2 children under the age of 7. And if you have children under the age of 7, or you have had, they are very energetic. They want your attention, and your eye always has to be on what they're doing in the background, because they will get up to things if you don't. So time blocking became my saving grace. And what it meant was I had very focused periods of time when I would get my work done. And it had to be preset. There was no option to wing it or not know what I was about to be doing tomorrow or the next day, or my lesson plan. So I began scheduling lesson plans every weekend. So every day I knew what I had to teach. The same thing for the evening classes. In my master's, that was like a separate quadrant in my brain. And that was, okay, what do I need to get done this week? And then I would time block. I need an hour for that on Monday. I need about an hour and a half for that on Tuesday. And everything became these blocks of time. But guess what? I have an MEd after my name right now. I got that Master's of Education. I became a professor at the university. I was successfully teaching the high school students who managed to get probably some of the highest marks in the school. How? Because it was laser focus for periods of time. I never sat at my desk and had 3 hours and, oh, well, maybe I'll answer this and maybe I'll talk to this person. No, it was focused periods of time, and that was it. I needed to get it done within that time frame. So guess what? That is how I still do things today. Everything is time blocked. I knew that I was going to do this today, so I prepared. And I gave myself a certain amount of preparation time, and then the time that I'm doing this. I also have coaching calls on Mondays, so then I have time set apart for that. I also have to create social media content, so I have time set apart for that. And on Tuesdays, I have certain content that I create on Tuesdays, because I also have a blog on my coaching site, Katharine Loucaidou Coaching. And I also have a blog for my real estate team. And so I have to fill in that as well. So there's still a lot going on. But how do I get it done? I time block, because it keeps you organized. But the other thing that it does is you feel accomplished. Have you ever had a to-do list? And probably many of you do have one. And you can actually check every box by the end of the day. What an accomplished feeling that is. It is as if you have achieved something great, isn't it? Time blocking is what I focus on a lot with business owners, because once you can really grasp just how powerful it is and what it means to be laser focused to do work. For example, right now, I have everything turned on Do Not Disturb. When I finish this, I will turn it off. I'll do a few things that I need to do, send a few emails and so on. And when I go to my next time block, guess what happens? Do Not Disturb goes back on again, because that's how I stay laser focused. So you may say, well, what if you miss a phone call? What if you miss an email? Tell me something. When has the world ended because for 40 minutes you focused on something else? Never. It has never ended when you needed to focus on something to get. Now, maybe if you're an on-call doctor, okay, you're on call. Maybe if you have a business that requires you between this hour and this hour to have your phone on, that's a different story. But if you don't have that type of business, then taking the time to block focused laser time on certain topics that you want to get done, that is what will help, first of all, increase your potential, because now you're accomplishing more. When you accomplish more, you have more confidence. That's how this works. When you prioritize tasks, it allows you to focus your energy on the goals that you set out for yourself, your objectives. What is your goal for this week? What is your one goal this week that you want to get accomplished? I would love to know what that is. And then what are you going to do to be able to accomplish it? Do you need time to accomplish it? Are there people that have to help you accomplish it? But what is that one goal that's really important to you this week? And what are you going to do every day to meet that goal? What energy and focus are you going to pour in to the tasks that you do this week to achieve that goal? So once again, that formula is mastery plus value plus consistency equals success. That's it. That is success. That is your golden ticket. The problem is when something is missing. When one of those is missing, you have a gap. And that's why we have to fill in the gaps so that we can get to your potential and everything that you have the ability to achieve in your business. So let's go to number 3, which is communication, email communication, text communication, phone communication, and some follow-up. We are in an age where most people say, email doesn't really work anymore. It's old. It's past. I would rather text someone. I would rather DM them on social media. Here's what I ask you. If you are of that mind where email is kind of past or passé, ask yourself, when was the last time you went into your email and read something from a couple of days ago? Now tell me, when was the last time you went into your DMs and searched through for a conversation? I would say the likelihood of you having gone into your email is probably higher than a text message or an instant message that you sent someone. Email is not dead. I think that email actually gets your communication across in a far more professional manner if it has been written correctly. A lot of people treat email like it is a text message where, you can use short form and so on. I would say avoid doing that. Use your communication by email as your professional way to talk to people. You can include links to videos. You can include PDFs. That's the beauty of it, is that I can go back I've gone back years looking for specific emails. To go through a text message and scroll and scroll and scroll for one thing I said to someone one time, most people aren't going to do that. But the beauty of email is that you can do that with your topics and so on. So if you want to be more effective in communicating with your clients, in communicating with colleagues, in generating new business, you should be focusing on your email database. The gold is in there. And I ask you, mastery. Have you mastered the art of email communication? Value. Is what you are sending in email of value to people? If you have a CRM and a database, are you sending out anything of value? Do you send a newsletter? Do you send an update on your industry? Do you send interesting articles? If you're not doing that, you have a gap in your equation for success. And then consistency. That's the key to email communication. Are you being consistent in what you are sending people? When I analyze a person's business, and that's part of the new course that I'm offering, is a free 1-hour analysis. We go through all of these things because this is what indicates a business that I know will scale and evolve, and a business that's going to stay right where it is because it has nowhere to grow. Let's go to step 4. Step 4 is important, and it's measurement. Are you measuring your performance? We used to get measured by our performance when we were in grade school, right? You'd write a test, you get an A, you get a B, you get a thumbs up, maybe you get a star. If you performed well for 1 month in class, maybe you became student of the month. But as adults, and we don't have these little stars and A's and B's and C's, how are you measuring your performance as an entrepreneur? How are you measuring your performance in business today? Are you doing it by the likes that you're getting on social media? Are you doing it by the number of followers that you get? Because I'm not really sure that that is a good indication of how you're running your business. What are some of the ways you can measure your business? It's your to-do list. Are you accomplishing your to-do list every day? Are you time blocking and sticking with it? Did you make blocks of time of what you wanted to get accomplished today? And you can look back at the end of the day and say, I did every one of those today. That is performance measurement. At the end of a week, if you had to make so many calls, here's what a lot of people say in business. I need to call 20 people today, or I need to have conversations with 20 people this week, or I need to schedule 20 appointments. Our brain does not understand generalizations. Our brain understands specificity. It likes deadlines. Let's put it simply. Our brain loves deadlines. So if you say that you need to speak to 20 people this week, what does that mean for today? 5 people a day? 7 people a day? Can we measure that? Yes, we can. Did I talk to 7 people today? Did I make 7 connections today? That's it. We can now measure our performance at the end of the week. Did I talk to 20 people? Check. Yes, I did. Now we know if we are measuring what we are doing and our actions. At the beginning of the year, are you creating goals that are SMART goals? SMART. Are they specific? Are they measurable? Are they actionable? Are they relevant? And is there a timeline? If your goals can fall into that category every single time, you will be able to accomplish them. But if they don't, and there is a gap, there's that word again, if there's a gap in any of those letters, then the likelihood of you accomplishing what you want to get done begins to drop. So from here where we start, it begins to decrease. So how do we keep scaling our potential? Stick to what you say you're going to do. It's really that simple. If you're going to time block, stick to it. If you are going to put appointments, stick to them. If you have said to yourself that I have a to-do list for today, stick to it. Consistency is everything. Let's go to number 5. But before that, there's an author, Peter Drucker, and he has a really good quote. What gets measured gets managed. So when you begin to measure everything that you do, you will also begin to realize what's working and what isn't working. So, when I'm coaching people, what I ask them is, okay, so where do we have that recorded? If you want to grow your social media, are you making a note of how you're growing per week? Because if you have a job of a social media manager, that's actually part of one of your job descriptions is to watch the progression of followers, of likes, of engagement on someone's social media account. So then I ask for your business, do you do the same thing? Are you measuring connections, engagement, business? Are you measuring that on a daily basis? Are you measuring that on a weekly basis? Let's go to 5. Effective systems for smarter work. So I find that systems are missing in a lot of people's businesses. And systems are the glue that hold a business together. And they are the glue that will also help a business scale. A lot of people, when they start a business, right? You start from the bottom. You create foundations for the business so that it's like building a brick wall. Every new thing that you add to your business is technically making your business foundation stronger. But what a lot of people do is they start with a business, but then they just kind of add little bricks here and there. These random bricks of work that you're doing are not building a foundation wall for your business. So if you say that you send out emails, but you send out one here and you send out one there, you are not building a foundation wall for your business. If you say that you want to grow your business on social media, but you don't actually post every day, or you don't post anything of value, you have not built the next layer of your wall. It's just these little bricks that you're throwing and they're not sticking. To build a foundation, you have to do things consistently and you build upon them. So if you don't have a proper CRM which is a contact management system, if you do not have a proper CRM and you are not scheduling emails to go out to your clients consistently with value, you have not built that wall for your business so that your business can scale. The recording of transactions, business transactions, can you monitor month over month over month what clients are doing in your industry? Can you tell me if there's a seasonality? And I don't want you to tell me because you hear in the news there's seasonality. I want you to tell me if you have a spreadsheet or if you have it recorded, the trajectory of your business every month. These are systems that we put into work. And what happens is those systems become automated. And now we begin to work smarter because if I can automate my emails or my social media content, guess what? I just freed up so much time here. Because now I can go and master something else, can't I? That's going to scale my business forward. But if I have not done the work here and I haven't managed to automate it and create the systems that will work on their own, then I'm never getting to the next level. It may be worthwhile, taking some time and saying to yourself, oh my gosh, I don't know that I can do all this, because what happens when we have a lot of gaps in our business is now we start to feel overwhelmed because we can't get everything done. Even though we have the same 24 hours in our day as everyone else out there, there are people running multiple businesses in a day. So how is it that they can manage to get all that done, but we can't set up an email system? Overwhelm, because overwhelm paralyzes us. So you may say to yourself, maybe it's time that I find someone to be accountable to. Maybe it's time I find a mentor or coach who will help me. That is how we all progress further on. In a nutshell, these are the 5 steps to scale and to boost your potential. So we have number 1, mastery and value. Number 1, mastery and value. Number 2, prioritizing and time management. So important for growth. Number 3, communication, email communication, following up. Do you have that system or process? Number 4, measuring your performance. And number 5, effective systems so that you can begin to scale your business and work smarter, not harder, which will in turn increase your potential for what you can accomplish later on. So remember, we make a lot of promises to ourselves and we have a lot of goals that we want to accomplish. But unless we become laser focused on what it takes to accomplish these things, we're going to be feeling disappointed. And then disappointment has its own side effects, which then takes us down a whole other road. Think of your potential like this blank canvas on the wall, okay? That canvas is always beside you. And every time you walk by and you have an achievement or an accomplishment, you put a brush stroke of paint on it. Every time. What happens is, at the end of your lifetime, or at the end of your working time, or in the creation of a business, you can look back over there and you created a masterpiece. That is how we create masterpiece. It's not all in the same brush stroke. It's one after another. The painting behind me, all different brush strokes, just like your business. So what I ask of you is to start today to put one brush stroke after another on that canvas of your life. And you will eventually see this beautiful masterpiece, and the masterpiece will evolve faster when you have your mastery, your value, and your consistency all aligned together. I am so glad that you tuned in with me today. If you have any questions, if you need help, reach out, put in the comments, send me a message. I would love to hear from you. Have an amazing week ahead. You have got this. Focus. That's it.